Hello, this is Dr. Animesh Chaturvedi. In this cloud computing lecture series, we are going to study cloud service lifecycle management, where we'll see different phases and of development environment, testing environment, and deployment that could be possible for the cloud services. Then we'll see maintenance and evolution of different cloud services that would be helpful for us to understand how this cloud computing era and domain is growing. For this lecture series, we are going to study these contents. First, we'll study cloud lifecycle. Second, we'll study cloud deployment scenario. Third, we'll study cloud service development and testing. Then we'll study web service slicing for regression testing of services. Then in fifth part, we'll study cloud service evolution analytics. Then in conclusory part, we'll study quality of service and service level agreement. So first of all, we are going to start studying in detail cloud life cycle, how this cloud life cycle works and how this cloud services been developed in different phases.
Today we'll start with coursework, which is cloud cycle management. Basically, we'll study cloud service lifecycle management that will cover most of the part of in general cloud lifecycle management. So we'll focus on cloud services today onwards for the life cycle means different phases, development, deployment, and testing, all these type of parts, and then maintenance. First, we'll start with cloud life cycle. What is cloud life cycle? So, uh, I found a good research paper, and this has defined cloud life cycle into six different parts. So, what are the six different parts? Service analysis, service design, service implementation, service publishing, service operation, and service retirement. What is first kind of part of the phase of this life cycle which has been proposed? It is identification and contextualization of market requirement that can be further in future, which could be reusable and which have some strategic plan, process, model development, and data modeling, and all these application diagrams. Next part is service designing, which details model of of a service, which is further helpful for designing the specification of that service. And it is also important for refining of the idea that a service should have, and that could be used further for the development process. In basically in the service analysis part or service analysis phase, it captures requirement for various market requirements. For example, profitable offerings, which is better, which is not better. Then it is also helpful in service analysis to analyze artifacts, various artifacts like strategy management and process modeling, data modeling. So there could be many kinds of artifact that could be studied, and it also gives translation from one or more different views. For example, views means process view, service centric view, and all these views analysis could be done at service analysis level. Then it is also effective for doing service reuse, means in future if there's some reusability of that service is required. So the second part, the designing, was like conceptualizing the things and translating some idea or detailed into the detailed model. How it has been done? It has been done with the appropriate specification, and which could be useful for actual deployment in future, and which could also be useful for reusing of that service. And this part of service designing is for a service idea, that how you should do the implementation in future. What is the whole purpose of this model that author had given? It is basically these authors were trying to generate a business and software life cycle for services, means some generic business and some software service both have life cycles, and they are trying to align this service life cycle and business, along with some common management layer which is available on an organization. So they are trying to correlate service life cycle and the management layer. We'll see next. So service implementation is the third phase of the proposal, that either software or technical service characteristic or executable non-technical services. So here it's a common, like we develop some services, some requirement of user, so the development part will take place. So it's like either resulting in the piece of software with some technical service characterization, or some market or fulfilling executable non-technical services. So all these things we need to do in the practical on ground level, that could be visualized, and that could have some services or some application that could be executable, and that could be have some productive outputs. So then realization of these services based on some design part and service might be also realized by different dedicated applications, packages, or support software services that could be used for life cycle process and requirement of such services that could be triggered at different stages. And there could be starting of service analysis part. From starting service analysis part, we start thinking for this phase, means service implementation part. There are many technical and standard life cycle which could be also fall into this service implementation part. So the service implementation part also follows some traditional activities of software development and helpful for granularity level understanding. Next is service publishing. Service publishing basically takes care of many issues that are being related to dissemination of service. Means publishing a service means putting a service for a client. So how it covers all these things? This covers many tasks like registering that service at service marketplace or service repository. Because publishing service should be known to the client. How client should know it? The client should know by reading it from the registry of service marketplace or service repository. Then different phases of service publishing could be like activities concerned with determination of access right, means what should be the right for particular kind of clients, what is the cost, what is pricing models, and different sanctioning of a different service level agreement that could be obeyed or not obeyed. So all these things study should be the part of service publishing in service lifecycle management. Next is service operation. What service operation? Why this service operation takes place? The service operation depends on how it is being consumed and how it is being provided. Means what should be the functioning of that service, and this has runtime matrix for monitoring for different purpose of contract management. So service level agreement and compliances billing should be there, and then various inputs should be there for analysis of service performance management and service relationship management. So this input of service performance and service relationship is one of the important part of service operations. Next, this service operation part deals with development stages and how this lifetime leading for the revision and extension and improvement. So after the implementation and development part, there is one more which is the part of service operation, like how this service should be revised, means how this should be remanaged or recreated, and how that extension could be added in future. So all these part of development and implementation falls under service operations. Further, how this service could be improved, this is also part of service operation. For the improvement, you must need to do development and implementation. So this development and implementation, this kind of based upon improvement, extension, or revision belongs to service operations. So basically, what does it mean, service operation? Service operation means service maintenance and improvement, and that is the part they defined as service operation phase. We will say this part as service maintenance and improvement, or we say this part as service maintenance and evolution. So there could be many authors which can define this service operation as service maintenance and evolution. We will define this service operation part as service maintenance and evolution. And next, service retiring. So what is service retiring? Suppose a service is very old and not been useful, much useful, so that service has reached to its end, and that end could be because of economical constraint or some technical competitiveness which has been over. Why we have to change this? We have to change the portfolio of the service. Means we need to do some revisioning or some drastic change that will change the service a lot. Further, at least one side of provider and consumer should do much significant revision and task analysis for what to be done. Then related to this task, there are many activities. For example, contractual things and succession of planning, means some contract changes and what should be done in the future, what new services can be replaced and retiring the old service, and what are the new requirements. These are the main fundamental belonging to this service retirement. And next we'll see some higher level view how this service life cycle phase been combined with generic management phases. So, what are generic management phases like strategy management, portfolio management, project management, operational management, and portfolio management? So, all these things are having different parts. So, they try to map this service analysis, service designing, service implementation, service publishing, and service operation and service retirement combined with general management stacks and general management life cycle. So preparation, what is preparation? Preparation means a simple thing, strategy management, how to prepare, and basically that belongs to the service analysis part. So this is what authors had said for integrating service life cycle along with management layer. So why they did it? In order to execute desired governance and activity of service life cycle and need to be thorough with the management life cycle. Next, they want to provide some mapping between service life cycle phases and generic management layers that has been illustrated in this figure. Now we'll see another uh, cloud service lifecycle model which has been proposed by other authors. So they basically divided this basic cloud service lifecycle into five different parts. What are the five different parts? Requirements, discovery, negotiation, consumption, and composition. Requirement, negotiation, and consumption is the part of consumer, and discovery and compositioning is the part of service cloud provider. And this we need to study in the connection with each other. So further, if we want to describe this as the IT service life cycle, which is being divided into five phases. So there is a well-known IT service life cycle which are having similar phases like requirement, discovery, negotiation, composition, and consumption. And this is being defined for service. And next, each phases are like describing some ontology that could be developed and represent the concept and relationship for each phases. For example, the first phase requirement means different technical and non-technical requirement gathering should be there. And then we have some request for generating that kind of service. Then this service was being deployed and being able to be discoverable by broker or someone else, and then certification could be then, and we'll put that service into the list of various available services. Then the negotiation of like service level agreement, quality of service should be contract should be developed between the consumer and the provider. And then the compositioning of various different type of service after the contract development. So multiple services are being combined together which are depending on each other. Then this consumption of consumers will start, and what consumer will do, They also do some kind of service monitoring and usage of that service, and they pay for the services they use. And they have some new needs for service analysis. Then the require it will go to the requirement. So this new service need will go to the requirement, and again this discovery, negotiation of service level agreement, quality of service, will go and do the compositioning with the old version of the service, and then again consumption of consumer will start. So what they have done, they have done some process and data flow into the five different parts. What are the five different parts? Requirements, discovery, and negotiation and compositioning part. They have done some representation process and data flow into the five different phases, like requirement, discovery, negotiation, compositioning, and consumption. Then represent the concepts into the relationship for each of the phases. If you want to go into the detail, then you can go and read the whole paper in detail. But for this course and this topic, we have to restrict ourselves. Like picture they have shown, the figure they have drawn is giving the pictorial representation for detailing data flow and different five phases, and it gives a high ontology for creating each of the phases. So next, IT standard life cycle, which is being proposed by NIST, and it's like a high level conceptualization for IT standard with development of product, process, and services. So what are the phases it has? First, as requirement, which has given by the earlier two life cycle diagrams as well. Requirement analysis to base a standard, what are the standard that they have to develop with, then what are the profile development, and then reference for implementation and product and services. So how this implementation could be done and development could be done, and then testing of that whole development process. Then further, if there is some problem with the requirement, in all the most of the phases goes to the requirement, and then again the base analysis take place, development and testing takes place. Then at the end, when whole implementation of the requirement and all these things are being fulfilled, then deployment would take place in public. Thereafter, you can able to access, or the client and consumer could able to access whole product of cloud computing. So what does this figure gives? This figure also gives high level conceptualization way of how IT standards are developed and managed. This is a IT standard life cycle, and it gives the implementation requirement, base standard, profile development, and referencing all the development that has been done. If there is new requirement came up, then again the re-implementation and new implementation will take place, and then testing will take place. So after the whole product has been developed, then the deployment would be done, and then you can go and use that cloud service. And what this high level conceptualization gives, this gives IT standards for development and deployment for some product, process, and services. And this is more generic related to IT standards, and less related to cloud standards. And this is how the cloud service lifecycle fits into the IT standards. This lifecycle want to give that image. And the processes could be referencing, implementation, product, process, service, test, tools, testing, and deployment. These are the processes, and these processes would provide input and some feedback to improve the standards. And then profiling and some testing tools could be improved further and associate with the product development. So this forms a loop of development. Next, we'll see some de- deployment scenario. What are the deployment scenario? For example, this is the high level generic deployment scenario. And what does this explain? This explains basically four different cases for how this deployment could be possible. And what are the four different cases? This and means if you have centralized and distributed cloud domains, with trusted boundary and cross trust boundaries. So these are the four deployment stages that the high level scenario want to discuss. Based upon that, they had given introduction of this diagram, that how a single cloud system or multi cloud system should work, and how these three scenarios would interact with each other in terms of generating these four cases of deployment. So first we'll see the three scenarios which interact with the various scenarios, and then we can drive the single cloud service. First step is like deploying a cloud. So this was very simple. First, a cloud provider deployed a cloud. Then one case could be like managed by a single cloud, and single cloud system could be managed like this. And there is very simple thing, but it could be further more complex. Means when there is two clouds, so there is two clouds means multi-cloud needs some interface to communicate between the two clouds. So this is being given in the third step, interface to a cloud. Again, there is possible of migration to different clouds, to one cloud or to different clouds. Then the migration of one cloud takes place, and then migrate between the clouds take place at the enterprise level. So large enterprise could have connected with two different cloud, which is being interfaced with some standard like WSDL or some XML or JSON could be the used for interfacing purpose. Then work of the selection of cloud takes place, means some of the service should be selected, which service should be worked out and which service should be ignored. Then the operation part between the two cloud will take place. The multi-cloud is also being divided into two parts when serially one at a time, means one cloud is being used at a time. But there is another way the multi-cloud could be divided, means more than one cloud is used at a time in parallel, means more than one cloud is working simultaneously at a time. So these are the two basic description which has been given for analyzing this complex interaction between cloud agency, consumer, and provider. So these three generic scenario forms interaction scenario. This gives us high level generic scenario. So what is first single cloud system, and what are the different scenarios possible with this single cloud scenario? So these are the high level scenarios. So there could be different scenarios possible, sub scenario possible in these three cases. Means there we'll see what are the different sub scenario possible into the these three cases. So these three scenarios are being further divided into scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, scenario 4. And what are the purpose of describing these scenarios? Like deployment on a single cloud system, it is the most simple one and not much scenario required for analyzing this. But there could be some possible in the single cloud itself, some management of resources on single cloud itself is required. Then in scenario 3, some complex interface of enterprise system is required for single cloud system. Then interface system migrate or replaced. So when the enterprise system itself is migrated from one place to another, so this is all the four scenario belongs to the single cloud system scenario. Then multi-cloud system, which is having one at a time and serially multi-cloud is being executed. Then it's a simple migration could be possible. One means one cloud is being migrated, one cloud service is being migrated to another. Then interface across the multi-cloud is possible. So how this interfacing between the two different cloud, means one executing first and then generating result for the second cloud, and how this pipelining could be done. Then how this work of selection of different services takes place. All these scenarios should be part of second multi-cloud serially one at a time. Then last one, multi-cloud system, which is having simultaneously more than one cloud systems working together. So what it does operation across multi-cloud system. How it has been operated. The four different ways of dividing deployment scenario. How these four has been done. So based upon centralized versus distributed, within trusted boundary or across trusted boundaries. So based upon these four things, we can generate four different classes. And how this has been shown in forms of metric, and that matrix explains you within trusted boundaries, crossing trusted boundaries, and centralized one administrative cloud and distributed crossing administrative different clouds could be domain possible. And this would have different cases. For example, case one will say that there is centralized deployment case, and having one cloud provider under consideration at a time, means at one time. Then each cloud provider may provide service to multiple cloud consumer. Then again each cloud consumer has single cloud provider interaction. This forms a single and simplest way of generating cloud services. What is case 2? Case 2 says that distributed deployment case, which has a single cloud consumer and has application that may distribute across two or more cloud provider and administrative domains simultaneously, means two or more cloud provider or administrative domain can work with the single cloud consumer and across distributed cloud providers. How this cloud consumer works: the cloud consumer have a simple cloud consumer and provider interaction for the different applications and provider peer-to-peer communication interactions. Then both of the consumer and provider works together for this service. Next, if you want to see, there's different cases possible, like case 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. So we'll discuss this one by one, each of them. What is 1A? This is a deployment case which typically deals with private cloud within a single administrative domain and within a trusted boundary, and having the most simplest way of generating cloud computing platform wherein policy and governance can be enforced non-technical means. Then there could be multiple use cases possible, like it is simple consumer provider authentication, VM management, storage management, SLA and performance, energy monitoring, service discovery, workflow auditing, and virtual organizing. All these things could be the use cases for this part. Then case 1B is like deployment case, which typically deals with commercial public cloud within a single administrative domain, but having outside the trusted boundary that client could use to enforce policy and governance. Then further, the client may rely on the cloud provider to enforce such a policy and governance through such technical means. And there could be some technical requirement use cases. For example, SLA in support governance requirement means across the nationwide compliance, some public key encryption infrastructure, strong authentication mechanism, some certification for VM isolation and hardware provisioning, certification of storage isolation through hardware support, data encryption possible. Then deployment case 2 is like this. We'll see the case 2 as case 2A is like a federal organization or federal cloud. This deployment case is typically a federal cloud of two or more administrative cloud domains, but where the cloud provider can agree how to mutually enforce such a policy and governance. So means federal cloud have two or more administrative cloud, and then the cloud provider also have mutual agreement for enforcing some policy and governance within essential establishing common trust boundaries, means there is common trust boundary for establishing this whole cloud model. Then this could have various use case development, for example peer-to-peer service discovery, service level agreement, performance monitoring, workflow management, auditing mechanism of security authentication and authorization, virtual organization. Next, case 2B is like a hybrid cloud where application across public and private trusted boundary, and having even multiple public clouds working together for some both being coordinating together for some administrative domain and trusted boundaries across the domains, and this consumer more rely on cloud providers. So in this case, in class 2B, consumer depends more on cloud provider to enforce some policy and governance because this is outside the trusted boundary. Now, the use cases what can be possible is just like peer-to-peer service level agreement in support of governance requirement. So now there's less amount of use case requirement for the consumer part. And next we'll see what are the technical requirements and how these technical requirement are being combined with the scenario. So after this, there could be possible scenarios, 10 possible scenarios, and this has different technical requirement. For example, creating, accessing, and updating and deleting data objects. So these are the basic ways to have different scenarios and based upon the technical requirement. So based upon these scenarios, 1 to 4 could be actually within private and public, and thus it belongs to the case 1A and 1B. And the scenario 5, 6, and 7 and below all involve some serial usage of multiple cloud. So this belongs to basically like B part. So further, this is like case for 1A and 1B. And after the so eighth one and eighth scenario is for the federal community cloud and hybrid cloud, which actually belongs to the 2A and 2B. So what are the basic scenarios are like moving VMs. The scenario that we had seen over here is being combined together, selecting the IaaS vendor, who should be the IaaS vendor, then tools for monitoring and managing multiple cloud, migrating data from multiple cloud. So these are different scenarios which are being listed, like signing up access to the multiple cloud, orchestration process across the cloud, discovering cloud resource, SLA requirement evaluation, penalty, auditing cloud systems. So these are the technical requirement based upon which 10 different scenarios are being designed. In next class, we'll see cloud service development and testing. So today we'll finish our class here. Okay, see you. Bye.